Okay, just put it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye. Nashtavrayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavada Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigim. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse number 24. So please repeat after me if you can. Unmute yourself and we'll go over the verses. Yadu kamepsuna karma.
Yatu kame paschuna karma.
Sahangarena va punaha.
Sahankarena va punaha.
Kriyade bahulayasam.
Kriyate bahulayasam.
Tadrajasam udahridam.
Tadrajasam udharatam.
Please recite if you can.
Yatu kame paschuna karma. Sahankarena va punaha. Kriyate Bhulaye asham tadrajasam udhartam.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Anybody else like to recite? Synonyms: yet, that which, to, but, kama ipusana, by, one with the desires for fruitive results, karma, work, sa ahangarena, with ego, va, or, punaha, again, kriyade, is performed, bahula, yasham, with great labor, tad, that, rajasam, in the mode of passion, udahridam, is said to be. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. There is no purport, so we'll go to the next verse as well. Anubaddham kshayam himsam anabekshyaja paurusham mohadarbhyade karma yattattamasamuchyade. Anybody would like to recite?
Anubandham kshayam himsam anapekshya cha paurusham mohadarbhyate karma yattattamasamuchyate.
Yeah. Synonyms: Anubaddham, of future bondage. Kshayam, destruction. Himsam, and distress to others. Anabekshya, without considering the consequences. Cha, also. Paurusham, self-sanctioned. Mohat, by illusion. Arabhyade is begun. Karma, work. Ya, which. Ta, that. Tamasam, in the mode of ignorance. Uchyade is said to be. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: that action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concerns for future bondage, or for violence or distress caused to others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Purport: one has to give account of one's action to the state or to the agents of the Supreme Lord called Yamadutas. Irresponsible work is destructive because it destroys the regulative principles of scriptural injunction. It is often based on violence and is distressing to other living entities. Such irresponsible work is carried out in the light of one's personal experience. This is called illusion. And all such illusory work is product of mode of Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Sayam Rupagada Mayam Dadadi Sapadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudapadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadhuidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Padidanam Kapavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Sahana Bhavatu Nau Bhanaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejatsinavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining today, covering Madhuvati Prabhu. So we were going through this section of, in the last few classes, of the Jnana Yoga, the Jnana. There are three kinds of Jnana. We explained about it. Now we come to the section of the Karma. So there are three kinds of Karma. So where we come to this point, or how we come to this point. So we know that Krishna is revealing to Arjuna about the Tyaga and the Sannyasa. So then the question is come, what we need to tyag, what we need to renounce, or how we need to renounce. So in this, that's why it's mentioned that art of living, that how we can live in relationship with the Supreme Lord, or as per the injunctions of the Supreme Lord. So then we are free from all this, our reactions of our material life, or we will be free from all our bondage. We will be illuminated by knowledge. We'll be having proper sense of understanding what is needed for our life. We will understand what is the supreme knowledge, what a person is supposed to do, what knowledge he has to acquire. So all these are explained in the sections of this 18th chapter in the beginning section. So that's why there is Karma Yoga is there is Jnana Yoga is there, and even the greater sense, there is a Bhakti Yoga also there. So the Krishna is revealing that there are certain factors motivate an action. So Krishna is revealing that in the 18th verse, Krishna is saying that knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors motivate an action. So action means karma. Karma means our activities. So anybody knows that what is the difference between karma and the karma yoga? Can anybody say? I think somebody is typing. Hare Krishna. Anybody say what is the difference between karma and the karma yoga? We learned this in the previous classes.
Prabhu, I can guess, Prabhu.
Yes, please go ahead.
Karma yoga is working. Karma is doing work. Karma yoga is working and giving the results to God. I'm just guessing. I could be wrong.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Karma means our activities, our day-to-day activities, And karma yoga means all that activities we do in relationship with the Supreme Lord. Yoga means to connect, to relate. So that's the difference between karma and the karma yoga. So when a person perform his activities in relationship with Supreme Lord, then it is actually the karma, that means which in completely in devotional service. That's called akarma. So karma yoga means that's scriptural injunctions. What is the verdict of all the scriptures, that we should all our activities should perform in accordance with the laws of the Supreme Lord. So then it's called karma yoga. Then there is sakama karma yoga, there is nishkama karma yoga, there is akarma. There are various aspects of various subject matters of this into come into for our understanding. So motivate and action. Here we are discussing about action. Action means our activities, our what we perform for our day-to-day life, and whatever the activities we perform. So there are three factors which motivate this action: the knowledge, the object of the knowledge, and the knower. So any action which is bound to happen is based on these three factors. Suppose a person. So then it explains here the knowledge is also there in the three modes of nature, and also now karma is also in three modes of nature. So when a person in the mode of goodness, he acquire the knowledge which is pleasing, which is illuminating, which is leading to the the good future, or that happy and understanding, and which is not what is called arousing others in any ways. So it should be like in the previous chapters we understood that anaudvega karam vakyam, like we please, we know what we do, so that we get that the proper knowledge, so that we can do accordingly. So that knowledge, one is always situated in the mode of goodness or in a happiness state. Otherwise, when a person has so much of attachment, that means he is always that knowledge he is acquiring for their own selves, their own self motivation, and he is always looking for the results of whatever the knowledge he has, and his knowledge is looking for his name, fame, and all those things. He is always attached to that whatever he acquires. Like we know that there are so many people speaks in this world, mental speculators or scholarly people. All they do actually just they are care about their own name, fame, and all those things. Person so much attached, and this is actually devoid of all the transcendental knowledge, and which leads to a game. So anything that which we acquire that knowledge, which leads to so much of attachment and the bondage, which is in the mode of passion. And then it explains that the mode of ignorance, which leads to the hell, that the knowledge, there are so many knowledge, people are so keen on it, right? How to drink, or how to criticize others, how to blame others, how I can do harm to the others. So they acquire the knowledge which destructs the world. We know that the atom bomb, right? The knowledge, so much of knowledge out there, and people are struggling, people are competing each other to make these atomic bombs. But what is the ultimate results of that knowledge? It's to destruct the world. It doesn't help the world. So these are all the knowledges which leads to the destruction, and is called in the mode of ignorance. So any activity, that's what is the knower, and even the knower is actually in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Then activities also which comes out is according to that nature. So a person in the mode of ignorance, and he likes to acquire the mode of the knowledge which is in the mode of ignorance. There are so many people, how to play games, and how to create the havocs, and how to create the war, how to create all those things. So, and another people, and so much of the knowledge, they are so much day and night, years, and so much money spending for research on it, right? Then what is the ultimate results of it? Just the destruction and so much of attachment and all those things. Like, we know that in this world, 99% of the world and the people are just after all this mundane knowledge or empirical knowledge and all those things. Srila Prabhupada very much against this one. And Srila Prabhupada always speak to the, his great scientific background disciples that you go and preach that what is the true science and real science. Otherwise, people are just, talking about what is there in the mod. Sometimes people says that, in the scripture says that Acharya says that we should not listen to such people because of a person in the mode of ignorance and his nature is mode of ignorance or tamoguna. Whatever he speaks or whatever he does is actually reflects that. Like I said, a person in the mode of passion, so much of attachment for everything. So whatever he acquires or this, it's actually related to that mode of passion or the rajoguna. A person the mode of goodness, he likes to speak, calm and quiet and happy, happiness in the world, and everybody should live peacefully, and that's his mode is like that. So he does accordingly. So likes that, whatever the modes of a person accordingly, and whatever the knowledge he acquires in the mode of ignorance, passion, or goodness, and then he also do the activities accordingly. We know that the knowledge which leads to so many havocs and the problem and distress in our life. So what are those? That's why Srila Prabhupada mentioned to the 25th verse. It's called the moha or called illusion. When we have this illusion, that means we are free. We are away from our original or the real knowledge. We are under the spell of this maya or called moha, or that we are completely devoured by or covered by this material energy. When we completely covered by this material energy, person is going to behave accordingly in this illusion or the moha. Many people say that, oh, I'm right, I'm completely right, whatever I say is right, you don't know anything, and all those things. We know that, and people are so much, they don't even have a time to properly sit and eat. They don't have time for the family or the anything else. They don't have, talk nicely. They always have criticism, find fault in others. They always have that kind of attitude that, I'm so great and that. So these are all the people. Then what happens because of these various modes, and they are in the moha or the illusion, then they act accordingly. So this is what it is mentioned. Sister Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is revealing to Arjuna about that, the action which is coming out based on this knowledge. So why Krishna is revealing here, so that we have to know what is the proper knowledge, and then how we should acquire the knowledge or the object of knowledge. What should be the object of knowledge? Then the knowledge and the object of knowledge, and then the knower is actually transformed. And knower also come to that state if a person is always trying to acquire in the whatever in the mode of ignorance, and he also whatever it reflects accordingly, like a light which reflects on a red thin film, then it reflects the red accordingly. Whatever we are acquiring, then it reflects accordingly. So that is called our vasana, or called our sanskar, our impression, or what is called that which comes to our life. So this is a great topic to discuss, right? Then a person is actually in this mode, and then he acquired these different kinds of activities accordingly. And in the last class, Dattatra Prabhu was mentioning that action performed, which is regulated, which is performed without attachment. So how we can do without attachment? So we need to have proper knowledge. That means we need to have the knowledge which is in mode of goodness. That means we need to have proper knowledge. What are we doing? And why are we living in this world, and why we are suffering? When we ask these questions, and a person has this proper knowledge, then he can act accordingly. But a person doesn't have. So we know that Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned that root cause of our suffering in this world is because of our ignorance, because of our lack of knowledge. We don't have proper knowledge. And that's why when we don't have a proper knowledge or the mode of ignorance, person is completely in the mode of or the illusion. So why Krishna is revealing here? So that we acquire this transcendental knowledge and the proper knowledge, then slowly we can come out from our moha or the illusion, and then we can situate properly so that our life has a meaning. Otherwise, it's another waste of our life, waste of our existence. So it doesn't help to us much to progress in our life. So human birth is very rare, and it's that we get occurred this human birth is to elevate ourselves or come out from this material bondage and understand what is our constitutional position. And dear devotees, this is what is revealing in this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is revealing that so that we all can release ourselves from these clutches of this material illusion or Maya. So because of we are devoured by this Maya, this mode of ignorance, we act accordingly. And we say that I'm so and so great, I'm that, I'm this, I'm scientist, I'm rich, I am famous, I'm very strong, nobody can touch me. And this word is exactly the demoniac qualities. And we went through in the 16th chapter. So the Krishna is revealing that. So the action which performed. So why it is Krishna is revealing here the action? Because of, so we have to renounce this all the lower modes of our activities and whatever we are acquiring, all the kind of activities. This is called renunciation. This is called renunciation, or utilize everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. Yuktahara viharasya, or other Sri Krishna namadi, or anasaktisa vishaya nidarham upayunjane. Instead of anasakti. So this mode of ignorance or more of this mode of passion is all the attachment, asakti, right? Attachment to all of these things. So when we are in the attachment and the ignorance and so much of endeavor and hankering for so much of material things, then what happens? Then naturally we do the karma accordingly. Then what we do that karma? Then we occur the karma and the results of that karma. We know that Ajamala, the pastimes of Ajamala, so much of sinful activities, and what happened? The Yamadudas came, and in order to capture, in order to take to the Yamadudas. So, dear devotees, every activity which we do in this world, everything that which is captured by this nature. So, don't think that there is nothing or nobody's seen this. So, we know that we are going through so many things in this life. So there are some are good, some are bad, and everything. But there is even every religion explains this. Every religion has this fact. That means there is a judgment, right? In the Bible, there is a judgment. Even Quran, it all says about the judgment. What is actually this judgment? What is actually this? Judgment is nothing but that it goes through that. What is this bad and good karma which we did? And then if we are so much bad karma we did, that means a person in the mode of good ignorance and mode of passion, and he has to suffer for it. A person in the mode of goodness and his karma was in the mode of goodness, then he has to also enjoy for that. So there is a result, whether it is in the goodness or passion or ignorance, there is a result for it. So that's why karma is in so many ways explained in our scriptures. There is karma accumulates in so many ways that in the due course of time, many millions of lifetimes, our activities based on the ignorance and the passion or the goodness, we accumulate so much of karma. We know that the story of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra, when Dhritarashtra met Krishna after the Kurukshetra war, Dhritarashtra asked Krishna, "O Supreme Lord, O Krishna, why did I go through? Why I lost all my sons, 100 sons? Which father will go through this pain and suffering? Hundreds of my sons, all my sons have been vanished, killed in the battlefield. Why did I go through this?" And Supreme Lord was giving a very good example for that. Supreme Lord is saying that, "Oh Dhritarashtra, you were 50 lifetimes back, you were a hunter. And you were going to the forest, and one day you went there and you were shooting the arrows to a nest of the birds, and there were hundreds of these little the birds there and baby birds, and you were shoot down all of them, and you killed them and all of them, and seeing this Miss male bird, father bird, was so much in pain. So you were going through your hunter likes that. So because of this sinful act that you did, you killed all these baby birds, and then you had to suffer in this in this lifetimes." Then Dhritarashtra asked, "Why did I then have to go through this 50 lifetimes again? Then I could have get it in the next lifetime." No. Krishna said, "No. Even getting a child, or one family or one parent get a child is also a sugardi because of good credit. That's why one person get a child. He goes through this bad, then he has to go through all these sufferings of no children, nothing like that. A person, whatever suffering in this world is as per their karma. So here Krishna was saying that you had to again to acquire punya so that you get a child. So because of in the last 50 lifetimes, you had acquired so much of punya, so much of credit. That's why you got these 100 sons. So now this is the time that the karma which you did 50 lifetimes back is now ripened. So when it is ripened, it comes into the being. That's called prarabdha karma, dear devotees. So there is a karma called prarabdha karma and aprarabdha karma. So everybody is in life. Don't think that, I did something in this lifetime, so I'm good. Never ever think that way. So we are all actually as per the dictation of this, our karma, which we acquired the millions of lifetimes. It's because of our punya, because of our past life and punya, the credit, that way we are having some goodness in this life. Don't think that, we are free from all of this. No, we are not free from all of those. We still have it. Because our punya, we are so good. And some point of time, we don't know when it is going to come back to us, our bad karma. So it had to come that we don't have that control for that. But this is why Krishna is revealing to us, dear devotees, that one has to go through all this. The sufferings which is mentioned in the scriptures, one has to go through it. No matter what it will come. It is mentioned that like there are millions of cows are there. So there is a baby cow, there is a calf, which was actually lost in this millions of cows. But this calf knows that who is the mother cow. And the moment there are millions of cows there in this calf, there is a moo sound from the mother cow. The calf immediately realized that this is my mother cow. So like that, dear devotees, mentioned that in the scripture. Doesn't matter wherever we are, in which condition we are. We may be a president, we may be a king, we may be a emperor in this world. But karma is in whatever the karma which is actually destined in that life, that will come back to us no matter what. So it's very, very important, dear devotees, that we understand this. So that's called whatever it is manifest called prarabdha karma. Then there is aprarabdha karma, that means yet to manifest. This Srila Goswami mentioned the nectar of devotion. So yet to manifest. There are so many karmas that yet to manifest is in our life. Then, dear devotees, also there is in the life, everybody's life, there is the sinful proclivity. And even though that's what it is, so when there is a person in the mode of ignorance, why he is doing that, again, these bad activities, because of he has that sinful proclivity is called vasana. Vasana means that sanskar, the impressions we created throughout our life. That's why we are getting this birth in the family accordingly. Then what happens? He has this, is called kudam. Kudam in the Sanskrit, that's called sinful proclivity. A person, according to his mode of nature, he gets this life accordingly, and he performs his activities also accordingly. That's why Krishna is saying that the motivating factor, the place of the body, the place of the action, the performer, the various senses and the endeavor and the super soul, these are all involved in our activities. So here, then there is a kudam, sinful proclivity is also there. So we are not free from it. And the most dangerous one is actually there is a seed. There is a bijam is also there. The seed which we implanted or sowed in our heart, then it is so terrific, so tough. That's why sometimes you ask us, we do so much of things, Prabhu, and why I cannot do anything? I cannot chant properly. I cannot do this one. Because we have that seed in our heart. Because of that seed in our heart, which always create that, and which leads to that, us to so many other sinful proclivity, and from the sinful proclivity, we create this karma, bad karma, or whatever the karma, then it comes back to us. This is a cycle of, this is in the Srila Nectar of Devotion. His Holiness Dhanudhar Swami Maharaj is very beautifully explains this one in a cyclic process. The person does the karma, then it has actually prarabdha karma, kudam and bijam. And because of that bijam and the proclivity, and we again do this bad karma. That means again that accumulates. So we are in this cycle of this karma. Actually, we are here in this world because of our karma. The moment we free from the karma, we will not be here in this world. We will not be here in this world. So it's very important. That's why Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that Tyaga, renounce this all various activities which is based on the material desires. All the activities which is based on the material desires, we have to, that is called sannyasa, we have to renounce. That's called kamam na nyasam sannyasa. That means devoid of all material desires, all the activities. We should not engage in such activities. So that's why Krishna is revealing here why there are various activities. So when there are various activities which is in the mode of ignorance, passion, and the goodness, and it binds us. It says that if you're acting like in a pious goodness, it is like, again, it's also create a bondage. The difference is actually the mode of ignorance person does or a sinful activity person does. It also creates a bondage. One is actually the goodness which created the bondage is actually we tied up to a gold chain. And here it's in the mode of ignorance, which is tied to an iron chain. That's the difference. But both have the bondage. But one can free from it, dear devotees. This is the ultimate of all this, which explains here. Ultimate of all this. Only by the loving devotional service, one can free from all this karma. And it's mentioned in the scripture. And we know that if you go to take bath in the Ganges, then one can free from all those, and we can free from our sin. That's what he says, that one who takes the bath in the Ganges. So Shankaracharya says that one who takes the bath in the Bhagavad Gita, Kinchida Dita, Ganga Jala Kaniga Pida. Yeah, the one who chants the holy name. Murari, it says that one who chants the name of Murari, he will never even reach to even Yamaraj will never bothered about to look at him. This is what he says that. So one who's in the devotional service, and this is the great, that's why Krishna is revealing this, the Bhakti Yoga comes to the next picture, next one. And as Krishna says that, in the last sections of it, Krishna is revealing that. Manmana mam vat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam de pradijane priyosime. Manmana mam vat bhakto, one who meditates upon me, offer your homage unto me, and pay your obeisances unto me. Thus you will come to me. There is no doubt, because you are my dear devotee. So one who engages in the loving, only that, dear devotees, that we can free from all this, that we can, when we engage in the transcendental loving devotional service. So when we perform our body, mind, and the words, that's why instead of the engaging in all these material mundane activities, that is called and engage in the devotional service, this is the real Tyaga. It's not that we pronounce everything and go to the forest and don't wear anything and just that's not really the fact. That helps once, maybe it's helpful, but one who is actually with the body and mind and words and engage in the loving devotional service is the supreme, service is the most, then what happens? One can eradicate all this, our sinful, the karma which accumulated from all these lifetimes. It is mentioned that in the scripture that when one claps his hands, what happens? If there are so many birds out there, when you clap, then all these birds flies away. Like that, when we chant the holy name and we engage in the loving devotional service sincerely and selflessly, and renounce all our activities and the results of all our activities unto the Supreme Lord, and we do that all our activities in relationship with the Supreme Lord, that's called Karma Yoga, or which is as per the injunctions or according to the scriptural injunctions, or as per the Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, and a person leads such a life. And that is what Srila Prabhupada established this Krishna International Society for Krishna Consciousness, to free all of us from the sinful reactions or our karma. So how fortunate we are. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and Gaura Purnima is coming just to establish this Yuga Dharma. when we Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established this Yuga Dharma, Chedo Darpana Marchanam, it's mentioned that, one who chants his holy name, and when Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing this one, even instead of just say Hare and even say half of the syllable of it, one can eradicate all his sinful reactions. So it has such a potential and a power. So only by this, only by Harirnama, Harirnama, Harirnama Iva Kevalam, Harirnama Iva Kevalam, and Kali Kalmashan, all this eradicate all these anarthas, all these kalmashas, all these sinful reactions, and take us actually and put us in such a state that we can always purify and free from this material contamination. Because of material contamination that we are suffering in this world, dear devotees. But one who situates in the spiritual transcendental platform, then he are actually elevated to, he is eligible to attain the supreme nature, which is full of knowledge, full of potency, and full of um, bliss. And that such activity, devotees does such activities in transcendental nature, transcendental activities. So that's why Krishna says, Mahatmanam Stima Bhartam Devim Prakritimastara. My devotees are under my protection. So if Krishna is protected, like nobody can change that. Nobody can, do any harm to that such devotees, because Krishna is under the protection of the Supreme Lord. So I would stop here. And are there any comments or concerns or anything you'd like to add? Thank you so much for joining. And Hare Krishna. Was it okay? Was it clear?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Can you explain one more time? I do remember you doing this in the earlier classes, but I'm still not, I think I've forgotten the Prabhat karma and the aprabhat karma, like the manifested and the unmanifested.
Yes.
Just like in a few words, I think I'll be able to recall them.
See,
just having a little confusion.
Yeah, got it. Prarabdha means in the Sanskrit, which all our suffering. Abdha, Abdha means ocean, Abdha water or ocean, that's kind of. Prarabdha means it's full of. So it says Prarabdha, Abdham, and Prarabdha means this our current suffering. That means which is already manifested. That means what we are going through in our life. Suppose some are, going through some, chronic diseases or, uncurable diseases, or some are suffering, because of they may not have something in their life. Everybody, somebody or other, everybody is not happy in this world. Some way or other, they are suffering some way, they may be problem from their, family members. There may be problem from their friends or the neighbors or who knows. And something which comes to us, this is all, whatever comes to us, whatever we are going through in our life is called prarabdha karma. It's called prarabdha. Then anything in the Sanskrit, we start with that means opposite of that. That means aprarabdha karma means it's not manifested, which is there in our queue, which is in our, which is in our backlog. Maybe millions of lifetimes of karma in our backlog, like yet to manifest. Like when a seed is sown in a soil, so it's not sprouted yet, but the seed is there, it's not sprouted yet. But when it sprouts, it comes on the top of the soil. And also the bijam, it has little sprout and it's under the soil, it is still there. But when it sprouts above the soil, it's actually manifested. That means called, prarabdha. Then aprarabdha means it didn't come on the top of the soil, but it's still there. That means it's there in our backlog. So that's called aprarabdha karma. Then kudam means, that proclivity, and the bija means the seed and all those things. So basically, these are the prarabdha and aprarabdha karma. Then also with this prarabdha, with our also material desires, then we also accumulate another karma is called sanchita karma. That means we accumulated more karma. Then already we have, then we are already accumulating, then that also goes to the back to the aprarabdha karma, in the backlog of the aprarabdha karma. So we are accumulating, and then again and again and again, and then also we have a lot in our baggage, and then whatever we had in the past, we are going through it. So this is what is Krishna says, that the place of in the five factors, the body and the senses, then the performer, and various endeavors. That's what is we say the karma, the activities which one goes through. Then actually the super soul sanctions all this, and he sees that he sanctioned because of this is what is one some point of in our life we wanted to do all those things. So now we are going to get that all. So we have to go through it. Yeah. So this is prarabdha and aprarabdha karma, and prarabdha and aprarabdha already. Now we are going. Aprarabdha means yet to come. Is it
So the
okay?
one which has not manifested, it can manifest in any lifetime?
Anytime, any lifetime, yes. So like a seed. There are thousands of seeds out there. We know that, right? In the
Mhm.
seed, the seeds out there, we put sowed into the soil.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
some one come up maybe in the beginning, some comes some come after that, some come after 3 months. Who knows, right?
Right,
So
right.
like yes, so it is there in our list, in our package, in our baggage, and now we are maybe in the next lifetime. Who knows, or the lifetime after lifetime, or maybe after 10,000 lifetimes. So this is all that there. We are bound by all this. We are bound by all this in this world. So we are, but all can be eradicated at once if one engages. That's why Krishna is revealing Tyaga and the sannyasa, the renunciation. Is very, very important. That's called art of living. That means in this human, only in the human life that we can get rid of this. That's why we are getting this human form of life. Only in the human mode of life that we have this opportunity to Adado Brahma Gigyasa. That means we can relate ourselves, connect. That's a yoga to the Supreme only by the mercy of the Supreme, only by when we engage in the service of the Supreme that we get that mercy because of the Lord that this devotee is actually now eligible. Now he can come to me. Otherwise, in the material world, who is in this material world because of their karma and all their bad activities? Everybody has to, like Sulabha, even everybody has to do karma, or everybody has to do the service. Either husband do the service to the wife, wife do the service to the husband or children, and the teachers, and the statements, and everybody is doing some kind of activities karma. Nobody is free, but even a little ant is doing the karma. Why? Because of this is what is they were doing. This is because of what they accumulated in all their lifetimes. So that's why they are doing all these kinds of various activities.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Wonderful, wonderful questions. Very nice. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Pranam, all Rosh Hashanah. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. If it's okay, I'd like to share a few things on this topic from Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj, Dhanurdhar Swami, and Bhakti Tirth Swami, and their examples, what they gave, and how it could be applicable to our sadhana.
Yeah.
So, in the early days of Hare Krishna, Maharaj
Yeah,
Bhakti
1
Rasamrit
minute,
Maharaj.
Proji, I have another Bhakti Risha. So I have to go. So can you continue this? Can you close also this class?
Okay, Prabhu, as you wish.
No,
No
thank you.
problem.
No
Thank you.
problem. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
And
Krishna.
we have to start the class at 8 o'clock. It is already 8 o'clock. Okay, sorry.
No problem, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'll make you a host, so please conclude. Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, from the basics, the body, whatever, when the basic fundamentals he was teaching us. So the question was about karma, whatever you do, action, reaction. So Maharaj says that when a person, we all have a karma, whether it's manifested or unmanifested, and you can't escape karma. However, when a person takes to the process of bhakti, bhakti has the power to negate all karma and make it zero, no matter how serious. It becomes zero. So to the level of surrender that we do to that level, and he gave the example, suppose your karma is that you'll be beheaded. And different people take bhakti and they're at different stages. It could just be that you'll get a small cut on your finger or something. And fully surrendered, then there's no question of karma. Then Dhanurdhar Maharaj in a Bhakti Vriksh had taught karma is what happens. So whatever we are going through currently, good or bad, is a karma. Karma is what happens, karma will happen. So karma is what happens. What you make out of it is your destiny. Meaning that when something happens, we all react to that thing. How we react, which is of course a function of our free will, how we react to it will determine whether we are in this dance, perpetual dance with karma, good karma, bad karma, this karma, that karma. Or you can just cut it then and there only and do all karma activities, which is bhakti. And then finally is Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, a fully surrendered soul to Prabhupada. Now, Maharaj underwent cancer. Cancer, as you know, is a disease which literally eats away the body from inside, literally, and very painful. So, in his last days, Maharaj was so joyful and blissful, and through tears of ecstasy, I mean, it was physically very painful, but through tears of ecstasy, he told Radhanath Swami Maharaj that it can't get any better than this. So that is the level of consciousness that even if there is this pain or conversely joy that we experience, rather than get carried away, but it becomes the opportunity to get closer to Krishna. And that was a very profound statement. And this, if we keep these in mind, then it brings a whole new perspective on whatever actions that we are engaging in. Thought I'd share it with you all. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Wonderful examples.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing. Just it came in my mind very recently. Our dear Nayan Sundari Mataji, she left the body because of her cancer thing. And the last, when I saw that video, she was like watching and so peaceful and not thinking, just chanting was going on around her.
Who?
And I could see like it's looked like that she's watching Radha and Krishna, and she did like a very surprised face and then started dancing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So see, Maharaj, they are very elevated soul, but in material life also, like Grihastha also can make it. We
Of
can,
course,
yeah, our karma.
of course. Actually, uh, the elevation that Maharaj and sannyasis and other great devotees achieve is available for all. Bhakti is, like they say, equal opportunity employer. That is available for all, no discrimination. And
Yeah.
no matter what your karma is, no matter what sins, there's no disqualification for bhakti, no disqualification.
Yeah.
So that is everyone, we can reach that stage. In fact, even presently as we speak, His Holiness Kadam Kanand Swami Maharaj, Dayadata Swami Maharaj's disciple, Madhupati's god brother,
Yeah.
Maharaj is also, on his last, he has terminal stage for cancer. And when they leave the world, all these great devotees, this Mataji, our own Dhir Govind Prabhu's wife,
Yeah, yeah. Radhe Shyam.
he was sharing with me, he said she left laughing. She left her body laughing.
Yeah,
And
and
she
looking
also,
at her, yeah.
Mataji had cancer. And her Gurudev, Loknath Swami Maharaj, was chanting with her.
Yeah.
And she left. And that's what we should aspire for, yeah. It's very, very, very inspiring.
Prabhuji, I had a question. If I could ask.
Yeah, Mataji.
So you आपने I'm going to talk in Hindi. Like जैसे I know this, I understand this. जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं अगर आपकी हाथ कटना होता है, just like you said about beheaded, तो आपकी उंगली कट जाती है, because of the mercy of the Lord and your good karma, right?
Mhm.
Just like you said. So
No,
then,
not good karma, Mataji.
like
It is because of that mercy of the
mercy
Lord.
of the Lord.
Yeah, good karma is also actually bad because we're trapped.
Yeah,
We have to come
we
back to
we
enjoy.
come back again. Yeah, we come back again. Yeah. So because of the mercy of the Lord. So pretty to these exalted souls, like cancer is the worst disease you can have. So
Yeah.
why is there like, yes, the consciousness in which they are living, just like you said, you explained 2-3 different things, right?
Correct.
So, but the way they are leaving their body, they have a smile on their face, or the way they are explaining how, like they're suffering. But why cancer is the worst disease one can have? So why is that not mitigated? Like to
Yeah.
a lesser disease, like a less painful disease.
Yeah. It is one way how I have been able to understand this, Mata, and it's a very valid question. Like elevated soul, why do they go through suffering? Now, from whatever I know, my limited understanding, Mata, is that Prabhupada has said, like, for example, when Prabhupada suffered a lot physically, so when a spiritual master suffers, he has says it's because of the reactions of the disciple, which he takes upon himself. So he absorbs, he's that buffer.
Right.
So it becomes incumbent on the disciple to, be careful.
Be careful, yes.
Be careful. Now, because he's a fully surrendered soul, the spiritual master, Krishna anyway takes care of him. So it's always as an example set for the common person like me. Similarly, Arjuna, why was he bewildered? He is a personal associate. There's no question of Arjun being bewildered. But all that bewilderment and the questions is for mankind's sake, our sake. And yes, we have sannyasis who have died in accidents. How is that possible? Why couldn't it be diverted, for example, or valid? So Krishna has his plans, Prabhupada has his plans, but I look at it as that they are all these things which happen to them is one way is somehow I'm responsible, I as in the disciple, or if it's as a Vaishnava, when they leave their body to teach us how to leave the body, just put off everything. Maharaj is on only, Madhupati Prabhu posted 2-3 days back, only on
The
water
Brahman
diet.
group.
Yeah, only water diet, and that's it now, no more. So,
Right.
Mataji, I don't know if I answered properly, maybe, but
No,
if anyone else has a point or to share, please.
No, I'm not. Prabhuji, yes, you answered right, but I'm not talking only about the elevated souls. I'm talking about like Mataji, Dhir Govind Prabhuji's, like this thing. So, unka bhi to jaise cancer hai, it could be, like mitigated, right? But like I'll give you an example. Like, my Prabhuji had a shoulder surgery, and he fell, and he's still suffering from it. But I always say that I'm still thankful to Krishna because of his mercy. He just had the shoulder problem. He could have hit his head, he could have broken his hip. So whatever it was somehow, like Krishna, because of Krishna's mercy, he's suffering, yes, but his suffering is less than what it could have been. This is how I look at it.
Very
instead
good.
of instead of asking Krishna why it happened. No, that's not right. It is, it could have been worse. That's how I take it. So
Yes.
that's what I'm asking. Just say aapne beheaded ka example diya tha, and I'm telling you that this is what I always have in my mind, and I explain to others. Like if I'm talking to my mom, I say, like there was a point when I was young, when I lost my father, I couldn't explain, and I asked my mom. I said, "You're so pious. I've always seen you do puja and part." And I was in second year college at that time, and I said, why did my dad die? Like he was only 52. Why it happened? At that time, I didn't know about so much karma, like and everything. But since I've joined ISKCON, I understand karma. But that's what I'm asking कि जैसे devotees जैसे उनको cancer हुआ है, like, so it could have been a less painful disease, or not talking about elevated souls, but I'm
Yeah,
just talking, yeah. So
even
how to look at that, or how to explain that to someone?
it is, Mataji, it is one way to look at it is if we just say like karma, then the corollary is that, but a person who takes to devotion, his or her karma gets negated. But the operative word, Mataji, that negation of the karma is a function of the level of surrender. Now, I can't comment on anybody else's surrender, the extent to which he or she is surrendered.
Right.
But the fact remains that after the illness, like you said, your husband broke his shoulder, but still you're thankful to
Yes,
Krishna.
I am.
You could
Yes.
also be blaming. You could be blaming that I've been doing Hare Krishna for so many years, and ye kya musibat de di aapne mujhe.
Right.
That could also be. So you're something like something in the umbrella of Mother Kunti when we hear her prayers, right? Mother Kunti prayed to Krishna ki calamity ho, because that's the time I'm so close and so intense towards you. So you looked at a misfortune as a blessing. Someone else may point a finger. Someone else may get disheartened and leave Krishna after all these years. So that is a symptom of love, that no matter what it is, I'm grateful to you, a grateful heart. Yeah, Mataji, so each one of us is on a path. Some of us are way ahead. Some of us are middle. Some of us are slow behind. Some of us are staggering, falling down, getting up again, doesn't matter. But with every little act of seva, mountains.
Yes. Yeah.
Nandulal Prabhu had said that, there is absolutely no sin that cannot be forgiven.
Right.
So, Vesa, that would be my understanding. Or even Prabhupada leaving his body, there's a video when Prabhupada left his body, literally till his last breath was literally translating Bhagavatam.
Translating, yes.
Jayadvaita Maharaj is holding the mic next to him. All the devotees in the room are crying. He can barely talk, but his last breath was translating. So this is our... Thanks, Mataji. Thank you. Anyone else has a...
Thank you, Prabhuji. So thank you so much for explaining. Thank you.
Also, one point, if I can make.
Yeah, Mataji. Sachi Rani.
It's just that just as we accumulate karma, we burn karma, right? So sometimes like when we see these highly elevated and exalted souls undergoing so much, it's because, like Prabhu said also, that they accumulate karma and they get rid of all their karma which they've accumulated. And even with non-devotees or like people like us who are struggling, I feel we get sometimes so many hardships and so many problems is to burn our karma. So what maybe we could burn off in like 3 lifetimes, we burn it off in maybe 2 or 1. And that kind of hastens the process for us, hopefully, to, go back. That is also one thing that I had read some time back.
Yeah, Mataji. Yeah, I have read that too. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's comforting, actually.
Yeah.
Mataji and Prabhu's, the whole thing of Krishna consciousness is love of Godhead. Love in Hindi is called pyar. Actually, higher than pyar is prema, but we understand pyar. But the moment if we make it to Krishna, Hare Krishna, मैंने इतना किया और तुमने मेरे को ऐसा किया, it becomes vyapar. No longer pyar. I did this, now I'm expecting something in return. So yeah, very nice your consciousness. Even in adversity, you saw the positive and gratitude. Thank you for that, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I hope it stays that way. Yeah.
Very good. Anyone has a question or a comment? If not, then we can bring it to a close. Very good. So thank you, all devotees. Let us offer a respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpa tarubhyacha
Vanchakalpatarubhasya
kripa
kripasindhubhyo
sindhubhyacha
vaishnava
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namah.
Vaishnav
Vaishnav.
Vrinda ki
Ki
jai.
Jai.
Grantharaj
Grantharaj
Bhagavad Gita.
Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare
Gaur Barut.
Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Hari Hari.
Hare
Bol.
Hare Bol.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Hari
you,
Thank you,
Bol.
everybody.
everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.